News 13, news, weather, and sports are next.
They're calling yesterday's strikes in Sudan and Afghanistan a success in Washington tonight, but there's a price that comes with that success.
Washington's memorials and monuments and the nation's military bases are all on tight security. You'll hear the latest on the terrorist threat next on News 13 at 10.
News 13, your news station, WMBB, Panama City, Florida. Live from the WMBB TV studios, this is News 13 at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having us in for news this evening. I'm Tom Lewis.
And I'm Amy Hoyt. U.S. officials are calling yesterday's attack on terrorist facilities in Sudan and Afghanistan a success, but there may be some consequence to those military strikes. There's been a reported threat from the man whose Afghan base was bombed. A Pakistani newspaper says it received a statement from a spokesperson for bin Laden. The statement says he is ready for a war with the United States. Here's Andrea McCarran with the latest.
Security has been tightened all across Washington, including increased patrols at the monuments and memorials. It's a sign of just how seriously U.S. officials are taking the threat of retaliation from Osama bin Laden.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, live from Tommy Oliver Stadium in Panama City, Florida, it's Ram Fever 97. It's time for the Men in Black, the Rutherford Rams, to face off against the Osceola Cowboys. Tonight's game is an exclusive presentation of News 13 Sports. Brought to you by News 13, your news station, and by Beach Cable. Tonight's live telecast is sponsored in part by Tico People's Gas, Tyndale Federal Credit Union, Speedy Car Wash, and by Bay Credit Union. Now, here's News 13's own Brian Davis and Timmy Zell.
All right, folks, thanks for hanging out with us. We're live at Tommy Oliver Stadium for the regional final in state high school football and 5A football teams. It is down to 4, and you're looking at 2 of them right now. The screen pass is in the game plan for us tonight.
Yes, it is. Coach Harden mentioned that with Osceola's blitz, that opens up the screen pass. Once the defenders get in and break containment, you can swing it out to a guy like LeBaron Black. He shows you what he can do with the ball once he catches it.
Put a quarter in that jukebox, baby. Nice move by him. You gotta love having a back like that in the backfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Gulf Coast Community College and the Student Activities Board, I would like to present mine and your President of the United States, William Jackson Clinton.
Thank you. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Well, on the way up here, Governor Childs told me.
On October 4th, 1995, Hurricane Opal struck the Gulf Coast of Florida, bringing widespread destruction from the western all the way to the eastern part of the Panhandle. Calling it the most significant threat to Florida since Hurricane Andrew, state emergency management officials urged coastal residents to take serious action in preparation for Hurricane Opal. 3,500 National Guard and more than 700 law enforcement officers, along with local and state agencies and nonprofit organizations, were on alert, working round the clock to assist with storm preparations.
As of this advisory, we are now the #1 strike probability in the entire United States.
It's literally bumper to bumper.
suffering almost at a standstill.
After a hot day of fishing, Tony Fleming thought an evening dip in the Chipola River sounded good. He dove in, swam around this bend, then came face to face with a 13-foot alligator.
I mean, he opened his mouth up, and like I say, I flinched back, and he grabbed me.
Tony punched and kicked the gator, who released him but came back for more.
And I just knew he was going to kill me, and he let go, and then he went underwater, and I swam to the bank.
Tony swam to shore with serious injuries to his hand. He'll make a full recovery. The gator wasn't so lucky. A trapper caught up with him a few hours later.
We harpooned him. That's what this is. It'll be attached to about a 50-foot rope with a float. And after wearing him down, we pulled him up and hit him with a bang stick.
With a gator this size, you could see I could easily fit inside this guy's stomach. The Game and Fish authorities say a meal's probably not what he was after.
If he was after a human and that was what he was wanting to eat, yeah, he would have taken him down.
Bob says alligators live anywhere there's water, so you've got to keep an eye out. He says people should stay out of the water at night and should never go swimming anywhere an alligator has been spotted. Not everyone may be as lucky as Tony.
Oh, yes, I'm very lucky. I should be dead. I shouldn't be here right now.
In Weewahitchka, Leah Williams, News 13.
Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. All around, people looking half dead, walking on the sidewalk hotter than a match head.
This is all we do all day, every day.
It's hot.
With some of the hottest days on record this year and summer still 19 days away, we set out to see just who has the hottest jobs in town. There were all kinds of people enduring the heat, so we picked several, and these guys hanging vinyl siding ranked near the top of our list.
A couple hours is all.
What does it feel like?
About 105. It's miserable.
The humidity and the heat, woo, it's hot one out here.
Scott Williams works outside every day, and believe it or not, he says the more sun, the better. This has got to be one of the hottest jobs in town. How do you beat the heat?
All you can do is drink a lot of water and keep going, you know. It's like this every year. If you're from around here, I guess you get used to it.
The temperature on the bank sign behind me says it's only 83 degrees out here, but the heat and humidity makes it feel well above 100. I'm hardly dressed for it, and I'm going to show you somebody else who's not. Let's trade cameras with my photographer. News 13's Scott Stoudemeyer is having a rough day carrying around about 40 pounds of camera gear on our schedule out here on the beach. And Scott, how hot does it feel today?
Well, Scott, it's hot. It's real hot.
And it was too hot for Cody Jelvik, but he found a great way to keep his cool.
Swim in the cold water.
Aside from all this fun and all the heat, there are some serious tips from experts in the power company about staying cool and safe through the summer. So cool it down and play it safe, because like the song says, this summer is hot in the city. Scott Molden, News 13.
Cool cat looking for a kitty, gonna look in every corner of the city.
It may hurt for the whale to breathe, but according to the 5-year-old boy that found him, his name is spelled H-E-R-T. Though the boy didn't know how to spell it, he knew the pygmy killer whale was sick.
He got his name from a 5-year-old boy that was on the beach at the time that he stranded, and he gave up his sand bucket to pour water on him, and he named him Hurt.
Hurt was forced out of his pod by the other whales because he was sick. He beached himself so he could breathe without having to swim to the surface. But now he's in safer waters.
And we coordinated through the Coast Guard there in North Carolina to bring a C-130 aircraft into Tyndall Air Force Base yesterday.
A police escort from Tyndall brought the whale to Gulf World for treatment. Hurt can't tell veterinarians where he hurts or why he beached himself in North Carolina, so they're running a number of tests to figure out what's wrong with him.
We're doing blood tests. We've taken stomach samples, we've taken fecal samples, blowhole cultures.
So far, they don't know what's wrong, but say he has stomach and lung problems, possibly caused by bacterial infection. They're hoping the treatment helps.
Pulling him out several times a day and exercising him like we're doing now, and he's on antibiotics and various things, and we're also tubing him fish as well as fluids because he's not able to eat on his own.
If Hurt gets better and can survive on his own, he'll be released into the Gulf of Mexico, where he may find his own pod and join up with them, or join up with another group of whales. In Panama City Beach, Leah Williams, News 13.
All the news that you need to know. We're bringing Bay County to your front door. If it matters to you, it's in the News Herald. All the news that you need to know. We're bringing Bay County to your front door. If it matters to you, it's in the News Herald. The Hardy Homes are cooking with
Homegrown flavor with that country fresh touch. When you're breaking bread with the ones you love, it can come to mean so much. To have a taste of America, a Hardy Home style taste. Come have a taste of America, the Hardy Home style cooking of folks. The Hardy Home style cooking of folks.
Don't let this be the last piece of furniture you buy for your child. Use child safety seats. This message brought to you by your Florida Highway Patrol.
Has been a